That's enough.
So how often does this happen for you guys? How often have you been getting together and doing these things? It must be nice to see each other again. Does it happen? No?
This year?
It's sporadic, yeah. It's just been this, like a little bit on and off this year, so I don't know,
think
maybe.
Kate was the first one.
Yes.
You started.
I started.
Kate was my first.
It's what? Hey! I thought Mary Beth was. No, that's a different, okay, sorry. Yeah, it's just been in this past year that we've been sporadically doing it. So you guys are lucky enough to win the lottery. Here we are. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly. Yeah, what are we thinking about that? What are we thinking about the idea of I know there's been talk about a potential comeback for the show. Is this something that you've thought about? Would you do it should the opportunity arise?
Well, we don't think it's going to happen, but stranger things have happened. Deadwood just did a movie.
Right.
Fantastic.
No, you saw it, right, Creed?
Fantastic.
I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't
Have you
seen it yet. Don't tell me what happens.
I think
I'm
there's.
excited. I would totally.
There's
gunplay.
Gunfire.
Spoiler alert. There's gunplay.
And well, what if The Office was a Western? I'm just kidding. That's ridiculous. Sorry.
What if?
I don't know. Yes. I'm actually pro reboot, but I understand keeping like the sacredness of what happened and like. What
And
if
it was sacred.
And what if we ruin it?
It was
you know what I
hallowed
mean?
ground.
It was like I just I don't know. I see both sides of the coin.
I do too. I don't think it.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I think the fans want it more than we do because we were like in it and we can't.
Well, that's true. Yeah. It's 9 years, and here we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But it's very popular right now. So, right? People are like, it's #1 on Netflix. So everyone is like, hey, reboot, and we're like, no, maybe, yes. And this is me just talking. This is what we do. We come out and just talk.
We're just talking.
And we're talking
the
before
most
you.
boring Q&A I've ever listened to.
Ever. No, just kidding.
Before you came out, we were talking about revisiting the show, and a lot of people here had rewatched it several times. Someone said more than 10, which is unreal. Now,
Get a life.
Thank you.
You guys know the show better than we do.
You do.
Honestly.
You do.
And something I've always wanted to know, having just rewatched the show as well, when there's a scene and you don't have any lines and you're just kind of hanging out in the background at the computers, what are you guys doing? Do you have internet?
The first season, our computers did not work first season, and they actually told us to bring paperwork. So I was doing like tax forms. I was doing like every paperwork thing that I had in my house. Like I was trying to look busy. And I also was reading a book, but I'd hide it in between pages. And then the computers worked, and then we actually were like, that was like back when DMing was big, the AOL thing. Anyway, we were like talking to each other and shopping, and I don't know.
The first couple of seasons of The Office, I actually thought I was working at a paper company. I didn't know it was a TV show.
You really did.
I didn't. I really did. So there you go.
I heard that your computer was the only one that actually had working speakers. Is that a true thing?
Yes.
Yes, people would huddle around to listen to music videos or... This was a while ago, yeah.
Yes.
Amazing.
Those crazy Japanese videos that you always showed of like
Japanese
That's
people,
right. That's
like,
right. We're always
getting
run
hurt
up
or humiliated. Yeah, that was Oscar's thing.
The Japanese have, or I don't know if they still have them. They still do. They still have them. It's a different place. It's a different culture. They have shows where they play pranks on each other. If they were done in Canada or the United States, there would be litigation because they're insane. The pranks that they play on each other are violent and traumatic.
Yeah, someone in an outhouse, but like suddenly they're on skis and they're naked in front. It's ridiculous. It's like,
I don't know if this one was real, but I want to believe that they were. There's a resort center, and it's by the sea. So there's like a big lake or big ocean, a body of water, and then there's like little public outhouses where you go. So and they show the camera, inside the bathroom. And so they go in the bathroom, and the bathroom is like this little, it's like a skateboard. It's like a hole on the ground, and you hold onto this little handle, and they squat down on the handle. And the joke was that when they're doing their business, and it was always men, and they're not gonna, but the men are bending down, and then the outhouse, the wall would fall out, and there was a boat waiting, and there would be a line tied to the thing, and it would shoot them out on the lake, and they'd be riding naked. What the hell?
On a toilet.
What the hell?
Steve Carrell actually watched these sometimes. These
And
videos, just to bring it back
they would be
context.
traumatized, like and then the announcer would be and they would score points, and prizes would be given. But this is traumatic. That's insane.
That's what we were doing.
The best
At our desks.
one was the toilet paper hanging out and the fish jumped
think they
after
wanna
it like
find
a
some
lure.
No,
other
that didn't happen.
questions,
Now
yeah.
they
It was
think it's
amazing.
fake. That didn't
Can
happen.
we get back to The Office?
But no,
Is it just
there's
me?
one more, and that's
Oh,
it.
jeez, come on.
A ski resort, right? So it's like a chalet, remember this one?
I do. I remember
It's
them all.
a ski resort. And again, they have a camera where there shouldn't be cameras in a locker room, a men's locker room, and there's an easy share that vibrates. So these guys would come, right, with a little towel covering their privates, and they would sit down on the easy share, naked except for a little towel. And then the chair would flip back, and then they'd shoot the show from the outside. The wall would come down, and the chair would tip over, and the person would go tumbling into the snow naked. And then the skiers would come by and look, and the guy would get up, and again, traumatized, and this was fun
I'm
and a
kind
good
of
time
traumatized from
for
this
all.
part of the conversation, actually.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, thank you. That's all the time we have.
That's enough. Hey.
Thank you
Thank
for
you, Niagara
Japanese
Falls.
pranks.
Well, let's get back to The Office a little bit. I know there's a lot of fans.
Just one more. And then, no. Go ahead.
A lot of fans here, and a lot of, the fandom has grown over the years. And with that, there are stories from production and certain trivia facts that have been on the internet that I don't know, maybe some of these aren't true anymore. And maybe they've kind of rumors have become facts. So I was wondering if you could
Allow me.
Okay, please.
verify.
False,
Elaborate.
true, false. False.
Okay, well,
ahead,
actually,
go
that
ahead.
works out. I would
Okay, go ahead.
we would quickly clear some things up before we get to audience questions. So, Kate, you originally auditioned for the role of Jan Levinson. Is that true?
I did. It's true. They went a different way, clearly. Yes, I
There
did.
we go. Okay,
Yes.
good. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
Oscar,
yeah.
you improvised the kiss with Steve Carrell, and it was supposed to be a hug.
No, he improvised it. He kissed me.
Okay, so he did that, and no one knew it was happening.
No one knew except for Steve.
Wow.
Yeah.
So those reactions are genuine reactions.
Yes, the scene
Horrified.
the scene was flat, and he
Heightened
thought he correctly guessed that it needed something. So Steve Carell,
Kind of like tonight.
as an actor, why do you do that? My Japanese pranks they loved it. Created.
I know they did.
Don't ruin this
I know
lovely,
they did.
blessed event.
I know they did.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Steve did that.
And this is one I've since debunked, but I'm wondering if you could elaborate on it. There was a character, the internet calls her Luann, that was spotted for 3 seasons. She never spoke. She was in the background of certain scenes.
Technically, she was an extra. Yeah,
Okay.
and then they I don't know if they actually ever referred to her in a scene, but yeah. She wanted to talk. She kept trying to add lines, and then the director would have to say, I'm sorry, but you're not supposed to
she
talk.
never got a line in.
No,
Luann? Damn it.
she was an extra. You're not supposed to talk if you're
I
an
know.
extra. That's showbiz, guys.
But
Just
if you
saying.
watch, the first 3 seasons, there's like another person in the office.
It's
that
so funny because I just did a show on Hulu, 9 seasons of a show called, not 9 seasons, 9 episodes of a show called All Night that was with some Disney characters. It's about like a grad night. It was out last year. And Luann was an extra in it. She was
knew
in
she
it.
would be.
She was in it. I was like,
How is she?
what? She's
Did she have
fantastic. She was
lines?
asking
Is
for
she
you.
have
good?
lines?
She did not have lines.
Damn,
she
again.
can't talk.
Poor woman.
She's an extra. You gotta graduate. I'm
Did
just
she say
saying.
hi? Did you speak to
She
her?
did say hi,
You were nice to
but
her.
she just mouthed it. She didn't speak. I'm sorry.
And it's just paid as an
She
actor,
knows her
yeah.
place, but you were nice to her.
Of course.
Okay.
Now, Oscar, is it true that you didn't think the show would be a success, so that you actually kept your part-time, or you had jobs at the time? You had a server and a babysitter, is what the internet says. and
I
you
went to
kept the
Vegas
jobs.
and I bet against the show. Why would I do that? Why would a person?
Yes.
Kate and I kept our jobs.
Yeah, I still have my restaurant job. I would cover my shifts during the week, and I still work my Sunday brunch the first season.
I was babysitting and catering, and she was so like when we got going, we looked at each other. We're like, "Quitting? Are you quitting your?" Remember?
Yeah, we were waiting for the
That was
pickup,
fun.
like
We're
the
like,
pickup, the upfronts, and then like
your
after
job,
we're
quit
like,
your
okay,
job.
and then
And
we a few weeks before we
quit
started
our waitering
in July.
jobs
Yep.
at the same time
Woohoo!
in different restaurants.
Right.
And her stupid manager told her, "You'll be back."
Yeah, then he goes,
No.
we were gonna get you a cake, but you'll be back.
What
so
a
mean.
miserable, right?
And I was back in table 14.
That's right.
Drinks
We
for
ordered
everyone.
champagne and we flipped the place upside down.
Now, also, this one's interesting. Apparently, the set was very cold. It was kept very cold because Steve Carell has active sweat glands.
Yes.
Is that a true
True,
fact?
that's
Well, because he's
True.
working his ass off too.
yeah.
Sure.
But it
This
was
is true.
chilly on set.
Yeah, the women wore Uggs and we had blankets. We actually had heaters underneath. I wore silk long underwear all the time because it was freezing. You guys don't know how hard it was. I was so cold.
And
Well,
there's
when
a fact recently in the newspapers, I don't know if anyone has read this, that women need the room warmer than men. This is a fact. and we were torturing
That is
these-
so
For what?
sexist.
We were
That is so
we were torturing
sexist.
the women.
I mean, women
Why
are
do
all
they need-
different.
I sent it to
That's not
Angela
true, especially
and
if they're
Jen
after,
Fisher,
if they're
and they went
over
back and said,
50,
"I
then
knew
they're.
it." Ah!
You're
Just
right.
kidding, just kidding. Okay. Just-
And lastly, in the finale, Steve Carell's return was kept a secret, and Creed, you apparently covered for it, and you read his lines at the table read to hide it from all the showrunners.
That's correct.
Is that true?
I did. That's true. Yeah. I did.
Wow.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember?
Yep,
I mean, I
that was-
remember
that was-
You
no
remember,
one knowing
but
Oh
he was
yeah,
there.
no, yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Wow. Do you remember that moment when people found out that he was returning? And
Well, it wasn't a big deal. They
Yeah.
just said you're going to read his lines, but
Okay.
we're not going to. They didn't tell everybody. They told me.
This
Yeah.
is when we shot the thing up at the ranch, Disney Ranch,
Yep.
the wedding, right?
Yep.
When you came back for that?
No, at the table
Okay.
read.
Yes.
At the
Yeah,
table
the table
read.
read at that
At the table
college.
read, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
Okay.
Our
Also, how
last
does it
table
feel
read.
to be in the place that Pam and Jim got married? This is pretty cool, right?
We were actually
just-
going to reenact it in a couple hours. I'm not sure who's going to be who, but
We
I
were
might
just
be the
talking about
flowers.
that.
I don't know. Yeah.
Creed and I took a romantic walk by the
Yes,
by
yes,
the
we
river,
did.
by the falls, and we were talking.
We did. Oh, yes.
So sweet.
I wanted to go over in a barrel. Oscar talked me out of it. Probably was a good idea.
We were saying, who was the first guy to do that? Who was the first person
Drunk.
to
Who
say,
was the first drunk guy to do that?
put me in a barrel and send me over?
We know who the last guy's going to be, though.
Maybe Creed.
Place your bets, everybody.
All right, audience, we have some questions, I know, so get your hands up, and I will try to get to as many as I can, and we'll shout them out nice and loud. Okay, so let's go. Let's start right here in the front. So go ahead. What is your question?
So my question is, how much was really unscripted versus scripted? I mean, you guys do a lot of, I'm assuming maybe just improv it, and just went with it? 'Cause
It was written within an inch of its life, and then occasionally we get to play. I mean, Steve got to improvise more than anybody because he's really smart. He had a million ideas.
And he has the most to say.
Yes.
So Stephen Rain improvised the most.
Stephen Rain, yeah, for sure.
But it's
occasionally,
written.
you know,
It's a written show.
Yeah. Occasionally we'd have some moments, but yeah.
It looks like it's improvised. It's not. It's written.
I was gonna say, I think there's only one completely improvised scene that I got to do with Steve, and that was the parking lot scene in Moroccan Christmas when he drags Meredith to the rehab, and we didn't have any lines, and they had two people out of the corner of our eyes dressed just like us because they were afraid one of us was gonna go to her. Hi, baby. Yeah, so it's kind of crazy, but yeah, that's yeah. Thank you.
Cool. All right, that's your question. Your hand went up really quick. Let's jump into the back. Go ahead. What is your question?
Is it actually great? You were in a video game a few years ago.
Yes. Oh, yes.
That thing seems to be an anomaly as far as video games go because it came out of nowhere. I want to know how that came about for you.
They just, my agent called and said they want you to do, it was cartoon time, wasn't it? Oh, the video game. No, that was the video game. They just called and said, did I want to do this video game? I think Common was in it too. Yeah, they just called for some reason and had me do it, and I had fun. Yeah, did the video game. I'd never done one before. Thank you, though.
Cool. All right, let's jump over to this side. Go ahead. Get in the striped shirt. Go ahead.
You should be sorry. How dare you?
Well, we'd never see him. We didn't know he'd be walking in the conference room, and when he would walk in as Prison Mike or do the dance, do the dance with.
I mean, we had the
with
table
Amy,
read,
right?
but you don't know how it's going to
No.
be until you.
Or the fat suit when he walks in the roly-poly
gosh,
suit.
right.
We died.
Poor
we
Tony,
we were destroyed. We were laughing so hard.
And also during like the first Dundees when he's like Ping, he's like all these unbelievably racist characters.
Brilliant,
Oh my
man.
God, hilarious and awful. Ugh.
All right, back to the front. Go ahead. What is your question in the red shirt?
All right. This is actually for Kate.
Okay.
Okay.
And this question goes, I've watched, we talked about this earlier, that your character out of all the, but
Was the sexiest and hottest? No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
Actually, this is for all of you. How much fun was it to, when you discovered that you were gonna, come together and, as, this dream team to
Office the comedy that it is today?
Well, it's a long process. It's a great question. It's a long process, and you don't know when you're doing it that people are going to respond the way they're going to respond, because obviously we shot it months before the episode would air, so you don't know. But you have inklings, you have feelings, and then as time goes on and people start to respond, you have more of a sense. But really, it's like it all starts, in my opinion, with Steve Carrell, because I think he never made it. The show was more important than he was, as far as he was concerned. He was serving the show. So sometimes there's the lead on a show, and it's all about them. So even though Michael Scott was the main character, I still feel like he was honoring this, documentary. It was a character who was in a documentary, and I feel like he kind of towed the line for all of us, and I feel like he led us. I mean, we kind of, I don't know, just followed his lead.
What's your name? Emo. The funnest thing I remember is things are great the first time they happen. The first time you experience something. And when we got the job, we were, look, I was babysitting, I was waitering, she was waitering, we had our day jobs. But the first time we went to the Golden Globes Award,
Right.
the first
And
time.
Steve won, yeah.
And Steve won, and we were up on the roof of the hotel.
We had the worst seats in the house.
But it was so fun. I remember I had a black suit on, but brown shoes, and we went in, Brian Baumgartner had a piece of shit car, and it was me, David Desmond, Ed, and, me, David Desmond, and Brian. And we drank whiskey at Brian's house, and then we went there.
David Denman.
David Denman, yeah.
Okay, yes, he's drunk. He doesn't know what it
And
is.
we.
That's Roy, the character of Roy.
It was just so fun, like
Oh my God, I think I
being
bought my dress.
crazy
Yes.
up on that roof when he won, and we're jumping around, and people up there are like, "Oh, that's The Office. Those are the guys on that show, The Office." And we were the new kids on the block.
And people
That's
were
the
talking to
best.
us like that I remember talking to Colin Hanks, Tom Hanks' son, and I was like,
That's right.
I was like, oh,
That's right.
I'm not bugging him, he's bugging me. What is happening? Mind blown. Crazy. Yeah, so it was gradual, but then it felt like all of a sudden in
Yeah.
a weird way. Yeah, it's a great question. Thank you. Oh.
And also,
It's a good question. It's a good question.
Great question.
Great question. It's a good question.
And also with the characters too, they evolve so much over the years. And I know, how does it all work with? Okay, I know Creed, your character became part of the main cast. Was it season 4? Is that right? So
Yeah.
before that, you were just like,
Yeah.
what is it, featuring and also and
Well, it was season 2 and 3, I became a cast member on 4th. Yeah.
and then 4 you became. So that moment that you become part of the main cast is like, is there like do they throw a party? Do they bake a cake?
No,
like what
I've
happens?
been around enough. It just kind of worked in. It was just kind of like I segued in at a kind of a
There was-
oblique angle.
There were
On a
several,
segue?
there were several protests. The
there was-
opposite protests. Why?
Stop
Led by
protesting.
Oscar.
Get
Talk
over
about
it,
a character
Oscar.
evolving. They made me gay.
Which was not part of the. Was that not part of the
No,
plan?
my
right?
character was straight, then he was gay.
And actually, I didn't know Meredith was going to be a drunk until she was a drunk. So, surprise, surprise. And the topless thing, what a bonus. No, I never was warned ahead of time. I'm like, oh, this is happening now. Like, can I train or something? Can I like lose a little? I don't know.
So fun. You kept flashing. You did a lot of
I
flashing.
did a lot of.
You did.
Yeah. Yikes. Let me just tell you, the
God.
cameraman never really looked me in the eye that day.
Great. Okay. Let's go over to this side. There's a couple of you over here. So yeah, let's go in right here in the maroon shirt. Go ahead.
Is hentai arts? Little reference to a deleted scene, you know?
Come again? What is
What is it?
Is
What are you asking?
Is
Hentai.
is hentai art?
Yeah,
Is it a deleted scene on the?
on The Office, yeah.
Oh, it's a deleted scene.
Hentai art.
What
What? Can you?
Give
where's
us
the
more,
scene?
give
Can
us
you give
more.
us more. Give us.
sounds like 2 syllables?
Michael Scott knocks over, like, some papers of, God's name.
It's okay. What's
Was it Dwight or?
What happens in the scene?
A bunch of hentai, and then he said,
Hentai.
art, you know?
It's called hentai.
Do you ring a
that's why
bell?
I'm s-
Is me? Who's
No.
speaking?
But
Is
it's a
anybody-
deleted-
are they
it's a
in the
deleted
scene?
Well, Michael Scott and what was his name, guys?
Was it Dwight?
Stanley.
Stanley. Okay.
Okay. So you
I'm
guys.
so sorry. I don't remember.
sorry, no, I
dude,
don't- I
I'm
don't
so
know.
sorry, dude.
Yeah.
Don't know.
You guys are. I mean,
You guys
You
are
remember
pulling,
more
pulling
than
up
we
some
do.
obscure stuff here, which
I
is
mean,
kind
it's
of
saying
good.
that you weren't
brother.
in. It's tough to.
We need more information.
Thanks, brother. No, you're
Cool.
Yeah, you're cool.
All right, let's.
His
Never gets old. All right, Red Visor, go ahead.
Ed Helms will crack me up, and Steve, of course.
Steve, of course.
But Will
yeah.
Ferrell had us
He
crazy
was the best. Yeah, I loved Will
that whole
Ferrell.
time when he was there.
Yeah, I
No, nobody I can think of.
Okay, let's go to this side now. Go ahead and yeah, go ahead. Poison Ivy. Yep, go ahead.
Yes. Oh, please. Hmm. God, is there a statute of limitations on murder? Is there? No. Of course, I would never do that. No. I'm not the Scranton Strangler. No.
All right, next question. Okay. Okay, the Dwight Schrute shirt. Go ahead. What is your question?
It was the first time I saw it. Yeah.
I think
yeah.
so,
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
we
I
saw
think
it
it
the
was the
first time.
first
and
time, yeah.
It was damn funny.
The poor Coy, though.
You
No,
know,
boy, we're hurt.
that happened to Warren.
Yeah.
That happened to one of the writers. He went for a job interview and he walked into a koi
Fell
pond.
into the koi pond.
And that's where they got the
Fell.
idea to do that.
Nuts.
Amazing. Let's go back to the middle. Go ahead in the Dunder Mifflin shirt. Yeah, right there.
First of all, I just want to say, Creed, I had a great time with you at Carmen's Catering in Hamilton.
Oh, okay. Oh, thank you.
And my question, on the last day of filming, were you all allowed to take a souvenir from your desks? And if you did, what did you all take?
I took a couple of Panasonic cameras, some recording equipment, a house trailer, but that's just me, you know. Yeah.
I actually took the fake documentary, like the DVD set that they had. I actually got that, and then it wasn't in my desk, but I kept one of my pelvis casts. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I got it.
Do you still have that?
I do. It's in my
That's
living room.
crazy.
No, it's in my closet. I don't know what to do with it. You guys.
Put a
John Krasinski signed it. It's all, you know.
He signed it in his real
Apologize.
name, right? Isn't
He
that?
did.
He did.
He did the first take. Yeah.
Make it a
yeah,
planter.
Yeah. All right. That sounds great.
A planter. That's a good. Anything you walked away with? I mean, you're admitting to theft right
No,
now.
I took some shoes, and I think wardrobe gave me a jacket or something. I don't think I have any of it now.
Oh, I did take the sumo wrestler that had a propeller. He was like a
Oh,
little
right.
fan.
Yeah.
It was on my desk for the whole time. And I asked, but I did ask. I stole some
Sure
things.
you
Of
did.
course I did. But I asked for that, and they gave it to me. That was nice.
That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, back to the question. So yeah, go ahead right there. Yep.
Oscar, I read that, a lot of times with you guys as you're filming, you break characters, so they have the bloopers and everything, but I read that you were the one actor who actually rarely ever broke character, and when you did, the others celebrated. Is this true?
Yeah. I got that from Will Forte, who never broke on the groundlings, and it's just, some people do, some people don't. It's
Well,
not-
it ruins a take if you do. It
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
possibly ruin it. So.
But sometimes Steve or Ed Helms would crack me up. But the ones who broke the most were like Mindy and John
Krasinski,
and Angela. Yeah.
DJ.
It was like shooting fish in a barrel for Steve to make John laugh, and then the dominoes would just fall. Yeah.
What happens if you just take after take? You get the case of the giggles. You just can't shake it. Do you just
Yeah,
cut?
it
And you just take
happens.
10 at this point.
It
and then-
happens. You just try to shake it off,
flattens
but
out
yeah.
the scene when it happens too.
Yeah, kind
Right.
of makes everybody sort of like feel like, come on, you guys. You know, it's everybody's like suddenly they're in 8th grade and they're like, come on, you guys. You know.
It happened sometimes, but not a lot. But
Not a lot.
it was a funny show, so it kind of.
Yeah. All right, we
We're
had a
pretty
question I
good at it,
saw.
actually.
Okay, let's go to the front. Yeah, go ahead. What's your question?
In the past, like, decade or so, there's been a lot more of these kind of ensemble-based workplace comedy sitcoms. How much of that do you think is owed to The Office, and how much of that is just like
300%. No, I mean, I do think there's been a lot of copycats. I mean, even Modern Family, which is not a workplace, but the concept of having those, you know, interviews, even though it's not a documentary, it's kind of a weird, they sort of stole, you know, I mean, I don't know. We didn't invent the documentary comedy.
You know, our show is a BBC, so Ricky Gervais and Steve Merchant, and Kate is absolutely right. Modern Family, it's not a documentary. They're just happening, but yet they do, like, takes the camera and all that. And Parks and Recs, that's
Love
okay
it,
because
yeah.
it was us. It was created by us. But Modern Family, what other shows?
Fleabag now, she breaks the the fourth wall.
Creed loves
And
Fleabag.
that's my favorite. Have you guys seen Fleabag? It's my favorite show. It's really funny, gang. Really is.
Cool. All right, let's go. Yeah, back to this set. So go ahead in the maroon shirt. Go ahead. Yep.
What's that?
On the what?
The letter in the teapot.
Oh,
It was a shopping list, actually.
I never read it, but
Was there something on?
Yeah, I mean, our props department, Phil Shea would write things out. I know that it actually is like a letter of confession from Jim to Pam, but we never got to read it. They
Well, make something
kept
up.
it between them.
Kate, go ahead. Just make something up.
Hey, boom guy, want to boom me? Sorry.
Good. I'm sure that's exactly what it was.
I'm sure.
Works for me. All right. Go ahead. What is your question?
I also was one of those people who watched the series 10 plus times. So my question is for all of you, is there like a key point in the show series where you kind of like saw your character developing, like, this is who I am?
When I got hit by a car, when Meredith gets hit by the car, it's like, there you are. Boom.
When Greg Daniels said we're going to make your character gay, and these guys know I'm a method actor, so I had to go out and do research. And it was, what's that?
Follow-up question is, what did that consist of?
Bathhouse.
Bathhouse, copulations,
Jesus.
oral.
Easy. There's a baby in the room. There's a baby in the room.
It's not murder, it's sex. There's nothing wrong.
Oh,
And
okay.
I'm heterosexual, and it was traumatic. And my wife would drop me off on the corner.
Oh,
of
Jesus,
Santa
come
Monica
on. There's a baby in the
and
room.
La Brea.
No. Too far. Too much. Too far.
And I would walk the streets
Too
for
far.
money,
Too far.
and I would dance. at
Daniel
places.
Day-Lewis
I would dance.
couldn't have done it better, Oscar.
Creed would come in, et cetera, et cetera. Why? Elaborate. Why would I need ice packs? What was happening?
There's a baby in the
Baby here,
room. Come on. Easy.
Taking a lot of turns in this panel.
So many.
So dark.
She yes and did,
She did.
but I'm stopping.
You guys are polite, but you're dirty.
Yeah, sure.
And we have so many birthdays out there.
All right, we have a question in the beige jacket. Yeah, go ahead.
There was a planking episode when Meredith just happens to be on top of the ladies' room stall planking, and Dwight comes in and just takes the fire extinguisher and blows her off. I thought that was like one of the most insane stunts I've ever done in my life. Anyway,
The planking was random. That's right.
it was
That's a good
random.
one.
That was random.
That was pretty random. That reminded me of the parkour.
Parkour was up there too.
Planking,
Parkour was
parkour.
awesome. Yeah.
God, I'm trying to think of it. I don't think Creed ever did.
Did you guys?
random
These guys are
things.
confirmed. Did you clear up that thing? The question that baffled us.
The scene we don't remember? No, you
No.
I don't think so.
The
Okay,
baby has a question?
Okay.
No?
Oh, all right. No, okay. Now,
What about this
not
little
my
kid
fault.
up here?
Yeah.
This little kid has a question.
Do you have a question?
People, first timers.
Creed, I know you're a great singer. Can you sing a song for us?
Oh, no.
How much did Creed pay you to
How
say
much
that?
time you guys got?
How about like $100?
Oscar and I walked to the falls today. He put his hand on mine and said, "Hey, Creed, Kate is not here. Let's slip over by that tree. I have some research to do." And I said, "No, Oscar, I'm not going there." Thank you very much.
Wow.
You're such an easy crowd. You guys laugh at anything.
Okay, well, that concludes the talent portion of tonight. Okay, you in the blue shirt. Let's go ahead. What do you got?
God, no. No.
Sometimes, we're a lot, we travel sometimes, so, I travel a lot, so I'm kind of all over the place, but, we try to, it's kind of like, we do what we can. And so that's the nice thing about coming to cons, because we actually get to hang out again, which is nice.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we got 5 minutes left. So do you guys want to each pick a question and we can call it a wrap? Is that cool?
Sure.
Okay, so go ahead. What do you think?
Go ahead.
When did you guys find out that Steve Carrell was leaving the show?
It was the day that Creed and I were doing a press junket, and we found out, and we were in the office, just the two of us, and it was all these stations that were coming through, and they kept asking us questions about it. We didn't know anything, and I also didn't want to say anything that would end up like exacerbating or whatever. So I would just pretend like I couldn't hear the question. I'll be like, "I'm sorry, I think the feed cut out." So it was, yeah, and yeah.
Cool. All right, Kate, go ahead. Pick somebody. What do you think? Last question. Go ahead, yeah.
The red guy in the red standing up.
Okay.
Yes.
How hard was it for the cast to keep it together with the scene where Michael Scott was playing Santa and Kevin was
Hard.
That was one of the
That was pretty
toughest.
funny.
Do you remember? Oh my God.
It's on the, I think it's on the deleted scenes or something.
Well, it was a blooper.
Bloopers,
yeah.
and you can see they just, Ed Helms and BJ and Mindy are in the corner, and they just can't
They
stop
can't.
laughing.
They can't. Oh my gosh. So it's such an unexpected. Steve is such a great actor.
Sit on my lap, little boy. It's like, really? Yes. And then he sits on him. He's like, oh God. and he's like, what would you like for Christmas? He's like, I don't know. And I think he says, pick something. And he's like, no one's ever asked me to sit on their lap before. It's ridiculous.
Oh, man.
Oh my God.
All right, Creed, do you want to
Okay.
pick the last question? Go ahead, sir. What do you think?
You. Nope, striped shirt.
You.
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 Oh yeah.
Oh, there's so many good. Parkour was good.
I like when
Parkour
Michael
was
Scott's in the straitjacket and Jim keeps moving the key. When Michael's in the straitjacket and Jim moves the key and he's like sweating.
So stupid.
Every take of that was fun. I don't know how they just picked one. It was so. Steve Carrell is a genius. I'm just saying, right?
He's really funny.
He's really funny.
Yes. Thank you guys. You're so awesome.
Thank you so much, everybody.
All right, everybody. Give it up for our office cast. Oscar, Kate, and Creed, everyone.
Da 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 da. Ba 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 da 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 da.
Ba ba da da ba 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 da everybody ba 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 da ba 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 da